Good evening and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News on the hour. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. The All Progressives Congress governorship candidate rally in Okrika in Rivers State descended into a stampede after 3 explosive devices went off in the vicinity of the rally, leading to the gathered crowd scattering into different directions as they ran for safety. The crowd was waiting for the leaders of the party to continue their campaign in the area, which has witnessed a lot of claims and counterclaims of violence from all sides of the political divide in Rivers State. Okrika is the hometown of the First Lady, Patience Jonathan, who has been involved in an alleged running battle of supremacy with State Governor Rotimi Amechi. Some structures belonging to the All Progressives Congress and campaign rallies of the party have also suffered attacks before now. The Senate on Tuesday summoned the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jega, to appear before it on Wednesday on the level of his agency's preparedness for the 2015 general elections. The decision was taken after a motion by the Senate leader, Victor Ndoma Egba, who noted that there is the need for Jega to brief the senators and demonstrate the use of the card readers. The minority leader, George Akume, also suggested that the 3 service chiefs who engineered the postponement of the polls from February 14th be equally invited. However, while Senate President David Mack was ruling on the motion and the voice vote approval of the senators, he added that the invitation of service chiefs will be determined by Jega's submission on Wednesday. Mack therefore directed the INEC boss to appear before the Senate in plenary on Wednesday by 11 a.m. Opposition members of the Nigerian Senate are insisting that election must hold on the rescheduled dates of March 28th and April 11th. They also maintained that card readers have to be used for accreditation on the 2 days, contrary to the position of some members of the ruling People's Democratic Party. This was the most position senators elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress expressed at a news conference in Abuja. The opposition lawmakers also argued that the excuses provided for the postponement of the election were too flimsy. They added that there are signs that card readers may be used as a reason for further shifts in elections. The plenary of the House of Representatives that just resumed sitting indicates that the People's Democratic Party has once again suffered loss in membership as 6 members of the House of Representatives defected from the party. The All Progressives Congress gained 3 members from the PDP, the Labour Party 2 members, and the Accord Party 1 new member. This is the latest in the series of defection that has hit the ruling PDP, with the biggest being the defection of the Speaker of the House, Aminu Tambuwal. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo's disputes with the People's Democratic Party has finally reached its peak with his departure from the party. Obasanjo spoke to newsmen in Abeokuta about his exit from the party, also tore his membership card as a practical demonstration of his exit. Olajumoke Olatuji has more in this report.
Speculations have been rife over the continued presence of former President Olusegun Obasanjo in the PDP or if he's moving to the APC. But the former president, in his usual manner of dropping a major surprise, indeed made known his decision to leave the PDP. But unlike what many Nigerians have expected, he says he's leaving the PDP for what he termed as a lack of clear-cut direction and failure of leadership, but not for any other party, but rather to continue to play his role as a statesman.
I am no more a politician, I'm a statesman, both internally and externally.
He added that his role as a statesman from now on will be to work for the continued advancement of Nigeria and its people.
President.
With the exit of the former president from the People's Democratic Party now a reality, the Ogun State chapter of the party has also quickly moved to suspend him. But will this be the end of the saga? Only time will tell. Olajumoke Latuji, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
And in reaction to that, the Ogun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has announced the expulsion of former President Olusegun Obasanjo from the party. The PDP's announcement came few hours after the former president dramatically announced his exit from the People's Democratic Party. His expulsion was announced by the state chairman of the party, Bayo Dayo.
Unabated anti-party activities, unbecoming of a highly celebrated party man, engaged in by Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, the totality of the executive, leaders, and members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP family in Ogun State, hereby state categorically, as from today, Monday, 16th of February 2015, Olusegun Aremu Obasanjo stands expelled and excommunicated from the party, thereby losing all rights, previous privileges, and respect of our teaming party members. Must no longer be seen from the prism of a PDP leader. Indeed, he seems to have lost all sense of proper behavior expected of a man who previously used and abused the opportunity provided him by PDP.
The Defense Headquarters says former President Olusegun Obasanjo is an embarrassment to the military. The Defense Headquarters made the comment in a statement posted on its Facebook page while reacting to a statement credited to the former president that the general elections were postponed to enable the president use the service chiefs for tenure extension in an electronic mail on Monday. The Defense Headquarters accused the former president of politicizing serious national security and military issues. The Defense Headquarters said that while Obasanjo's intentions remained unclear, his motives for making such utterances were less than noble. The statement stressed that Obasanjo's claims were false. It also said that it is surprising that Obasanjo opted to ignore the assurances by the defense authorities in a statement that the military will continue to be apolitical. The military said while it desires to accord respect to Obasanjo and his views, the statements credited to him did not reflect the standard of discipline expected from a former general of his status. The defense authorities said the word has moved beyond the mentality of Obasanjo, insisting that the military personnel of today are better equipped in the area of training, education, and exposure to have a better appreciation of democracy and its importance to national prosperity. With 6 additional weeks of campaigning to go, Muhammadu Buhari, presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, was welcomed to Maiduguri by a massive crowd as a new phase of his rally tour of Nigeria begins. Accompanied by several members of the APC, including Rotimi Amechi and Audu Ogbe, the governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, was also on hand to lend his support to the campaign party. Crowd lined the streets of Maiduguri and displayed APC flag on trees and cheered Buhari as he made his way through the city. Many of his supporters ran after the cars, chanting their support for the candidate. He acknowledged their show of support during his speech, while also promising all displaced people that they will see a government genuinely concerned about their plight if elected. He added that his goal is to ensure the development of the country and the empowerment of the youth. He also visited the Sheikh of Borno, Abubakar Ibn Umar Galbai Al-Kanemi, at his palace to pay homage. It's the CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a short break and return with more stories. Please don't go away. From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election,
How ironical. Women being so powerful yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Many thanks for being there. And for more news and other information, you can visit our social media platforms. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. Tweet at us at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then news. The Oyo State Office of the Independent National Electoral Commission has dismissed claims of having any unholy or sinister intentions with its partnership with the State Council of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, for transportation logistics during the forthcoming general elections. While responding to the allegation credited to their court party in the state at an emergency meeting which had representatives of other political parties, the state's electoral commissioner Rufus Akeju says the decision was taken by the national chairman of the commission in his bid to refine and redesign the existing logistics arm of election management. Omotayalo has the details.
Of the Independent National Electoral Commission to use the State Council of the NURTW for election logistics did not come as a welcome development for most political parties in Oyo State for obvious reasons. According to this party's stalwarts, the Transport Workers Union in the state have a bad record and the bias for the ruling party, which will render the efforts of the state's INEC office to ensure a free and fair elections ineffective.
I believe here that all the major parties here, except one or his allies, will support that arrangement, because in Oyo State we know what the NURTW are doing. We know the party they are supporting. We know the party they are working for.
There's difference between the NURTW in that place and Oyo State.
Remove the issue of the leadership of NURTW completely. If you don't remove them, then I don't think we are planning to hold election in Oyo State, because they are the ones that will foment trouble, that will cause trouble.
For the state secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Mojid Olaoya, the parties opposing the policy of INEC are just scared that their past will haunt them, adding that the NURTW of the current administration has been remodeled to be democratic and civil in all respect.
Past government, they have been making use of this union one way or the other to disturb the peace, to carry the ballot boxes, to smash people, to do this and that. You understand? That is the main reason why they are now saying that they don't want them.
Having listened to both sides of the divide, the State Resident Electoral Commissioner Rufus Akeju advised parties in opposition to address a letter to the National Electoral Body, who is in the best position to make any adjustment on the policy to partner with the transport union.
This is not election as usual. This is not INEC you used to know. If you don't know that by 2011, by now you should know. There are a lot of changes, my dear. Rigging, those who want to rig will commit suicide.
Asked if his party will be willing to go ahead with the elections on the assumption that INEC doesn't go back on its decision, the State Publicity Secretary of Accord, Nureni Adeniran, says that it will be unfair on the majority if the policy is not modified.
I have to let you know that my party is vehemently opposing that particular idea. We are not going to accept it.
With less than 6 weeks to the general elections, the state's office of the Independent Electoral Commission has continued to assure Oyo residents of a free, fair and credible poll. Omotayalo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
In Abuja has upheld the judgment of Election Petition Tribunal, which affirmed the election of Governor Ayo Fayoshé as the winner of Ekiti State governorship election of June 21st, 2014. The tribunal had on December 19, 2014, upheld Fayoshe's victory and dismissed the petitions of the All Progressives Congress. In delivering judgment on the appeal, Justice Abdul Aboki held that the previous impeachment of the governor and his alleged forged certificate cannot nullify his election. The appeal court, however, faulted the deployment of soldiers on election duty. All the counsel in the suit bared their minds to journalists on the judgment.
Elementary burden of proof. Not only that, their lordships equally confirmed as a fact that this so-called alleged forgery of HND certificate had actually been resolved in an earlier case, in the case of AD against Fayoshe. In other words, that case raises what we call issue estoppel against the appellant. So hook, line, and sinker, Governor Fayoshe has been vindicated by this judgment. So as regards what their lordship said on the soldiers, that was by the way. It doesn't go to the root of this appeal. The main issue is impeachment a disqualifying factor? No. Did they prove forgery of certificate? No. The court held it so. And to that extent, we are delighted, we are excited about this judgment just delivered. In other words, the mandate of the people in Ekiti State, freely and voluntarily bestowed on Governor Fayoshe, has been upheld, it has been vindicated. All is well that ends well.
The court has delivered its judgment, and we commended them because it was an erudite decision, even though it is not every aspect that favors the appellant. But there are certain aspects which are fundamentally important to our democracy. For instance, they have declared as a legal deployment of military to conduct an election. They don't have any rule under the Constitution. They do not have any rule under even the Armed Forces Act. Therefore, that's a landmark to say in future elections the army should not be deployed. Although we would have expected the court to go further to say, having found that the military was present everywhere during the conduct of election in Ekiti State, to have gone further to declare that election null and void. Nobody ought to have been a return winner of that election, but all the same, it was a commendable decision.
Our position has been vindicated, and our position is very straightforward. It had been ab initio that soldiers should not be made part of any political permutations. Soldiers, by their training and convention, are apolitical, and that was our position at the tribunal. And the Court of Appeal has upheld that position, that it was right for the tribunal to expunge the soldiers, and that is our position. Soldiers should be left alone to face their professional duties, which is the protection of the territorial integrity of our nation.
President Goodluck Jonathan has formally sent the names of 8 ministerial nominees to the Senate for confirmation as cabinet members. Topping the list is the former Minister of State for Defense, Musiliu Obanikoro, who is to represent Lagos State in the Federal Executive Council. There are 2 other former federal lawmakers on the list. They are Senators Patricia Okashiki and Joel Ikenya. The remaining nominees are Professor Ada, retired Colonel Augustine Akobundu, Fidelis Unwanko, Hawa Lawan, and Kenneth Kubani. Nigeria's military authorities say troops have cleared Monguno and its environs of insurgents. Defense headquarters said through its Twitter feeds that soldiers took over the town from Boko Haram after a coordinated air and land assault. It said a number of insurgents operating around Baga were also captured during the military operation alongside truckloads of food and logistics. The military added that the land and air assault is still ongoing, with soldiers advancing to other locations and communities meant to be cleared. As the nation continues to grapple with security challenges, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has reiterated the call for the establishment of state police. Fashola, who stated this while playing host to the Lagos Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abafi Gabriel, at Alausa, maintains that such remains the only way to guarantee effectiveness of the existing security agencies. He also says such moves will allow state governments make proper budgetary plans if they are allowed to create their own police force.
The number of federal agencies we are supporting is increasing every day. But we do so not because it's our responsibility, but it's our people who are affected if those agencies don't function. But and this is why we continue to say, look, listen, why don't you just leave the states to create their own security apparatus and regulate it? Because the truth is that if we are actually funding all of this, if the state component of the civil defense is here, we are funding it, why don't they be the bulwark of the state police? And let each state then take ownership, full ownership, subject to the laws that regulate them, and say, okay, this is our own state police. That does not mean that the federal police, as you call them, your senior brothers, will cease to. It doesn't mean they will cease to exist.
The commandant on his part says it was in Fashola's office to seek the support of the state government to ensure the smooth operation of the Corps. The All Progressives Congress has raised alarm over an alleged directive ordering the withdrawal of customs, immigration and other security personnel from the country's border posts in Kebbi and Katsina State. It wonders what purpose such a directive is meant to serve. In a statement in Lagos by its National Publicity Secretary, Lai Mohammed, the party said the verbal directive led to the total withdrawal of the stated policemen personnel from the border posts in the two states, leaving the posts unmanned. APC wondered who gave the order and for what purpose, and asked the federal government to immediately tell Nigerians what happened. The party said with no one left to man the borders in the affected areas for as long as the directive lasts, which is yet to be determined, anything could have happened. The party added that such a directive was given verbally so that there would be no record of it, and asked if the order is to allow free entry of contraband goods, election materials, weapons or terrorists. The Nigerian Customs and Immigration Services have denied that the federal government closed the nation's border posts in Sokoto and Kebbi states. The officers in charge of customs and immigration at the Ilela border post in Sokoto state made this known to the news agency of Nigeria on Tuesday. The denial followed speculation that the federal government had ordered the closure of the borders in the two states for some undisclosed reasons. Agbetuye Peter, the officer in charge of customs office at the post, promised to continue to work round the clock to ensure the nation's border is secure with the neighboring Niger Republic. Also, Mr. Toyin Saka of the Immigration Service corroborated Peter's views, saying that the speculations were baseless and unfounded. We'll take another break now and we'll return with a story from outside Nigeria.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Thank you for being there. Separatists are keeping up attacks on the strategic railway junction of Debaltseve despite a ceasefire in eastern Ukraine, a Kiev military spokesman said on Monday. The illegal armed group are not supporting the ceasefire, military spokesman Anatoly Stelmak told reporters, adding that the Russian-backed rebels were using Grad rockets and tanks to attack government forces holding the town. Reports says there was heavy shelling from the direction of the town with blasts around every 10 seconds. Underscoring the fragility of the ceasefire, which was negotiated by Ukraine, Russia, Germany and France last week and which came into force at midnight on Sunday, The Kiev military said government's positions had been fired on 112 times by rebels in the past 24 hours. And with that, we wrap it up for this hour. Join us again, top of the hour for more. Thank you for watching. I am Ebunlomo Adekunle.